Hello, hello. Good day. So glad to be with you all. Hello, interestings. Have a lot of interesting things to chat about today. And let's start that again, actually. Hello, hello, interestings. Thank you for stopping in today. So glad to share with you all, have some cool chats. This may not be as long of a broadcast, but wanted to come and just share some of the gold nuggets that I was able to get. Just had a great um, time at IBS 2023. And just in case you want to know what IBS is without Googling it, it's the International Builders Showcase. And so annually they have an international convention. And so this is where your home builders are going. This is where your construction professionals are going. If you've bought a house, this is where the big home developers, Lennar, KB Homes, all these large developers, as well as custom home developers, architects, as well as the people that provide the materials for homes. They go to IBS, it's an industry standard convention annually. And I'm so thankful to go and learn and continue to stay on top of the different trends in construction and real estate. And of course, as a real estate professional myself and a sustainability consultant, one of the things that I'll be sharing with you today are some of the positive trends of the mindfulness of integrating things that are sustainable practices in design, construction, materials. So today, again, may not be the longest, but we will be. I'll be sharing with you my top two favorites at IBS. Thank you so much for joining. And I will be sharing some good news with you at the end of my broadcast. So feel free to stay through to the end. For those of you that are joining me, if you are not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, remember I'm at YouTube at Hello Interesting and the number one. And thank you for joining on Instagram Live and as well as my podcast. Well, there's your hint. So, one of my first exciting points to share from IBS is there is a lot of talk about carbon neutral. There is talk with industry professionals, and these are professionals that are already incorporating better practices, mindful practices into energy efficiency. So there is a lot of conversation of being intentional, of being mindful of your carbon footprint. What does this mean? So for people that are constructing and building houses, there's a lot of materials that go into building a house. Typically, when a typical home builder is constructing a home, there's going to be excess waste. They're not going to use all of the materials, and there's going to be, excess materials that end up getting thrown away. And so, it may not seem like a big deal, but keep in mind that some developers are developing home, communities that may have, it could be have 50 homes, it could have a 200, 300 homes in one community. So even, 10% waste for one house really adds up. Okay. Imagine 10% of waste times 150, 300 houses. That's a lot of waste. And so feel free to Google what a carbon footprint is to better understand how this adds up in waste and being not prudent as environmental stewards. Okay, on our showcase, when we talk about sustainability, when we talk about better practices, keep in mind that these are things that are better for the earth. They are things that are help to reduce waste consumption, meaning the amount of waste that we use. And a carbon footprint, some people, mock the term and think that it's not a big deal. But the more waste that we expend out, our landfills can only hold so much. And so then this trickles into, dumping waste into the oceans and things. And as we know, all of this circles back around. Okay. So, but to stay focused on the IBS trends, again, International Builders Showcase. So there were several workshops. There was talking about ways that builders, developers can reduce their carbon footprint. And just so you know, there are things that are going to be mandated and rolled out for 2030. Now we will go delve into that at a later broadcast, but just giving you some insight on where the relevance is for this, as far as what is carbon neutral, why is it important, and why does it matter for you as a homeowner, or if for my colleagues that are listening to this who are architects, builders, developers. There are goals for 2023 to really reduce the carbon footprint, to be more energy efficient. And just from a homeowner standpoint, this benefits us. Okay. I was talking with a colleague the other day. Here's an example of how this benefits us. I was talking to a colleague the other day, actually at the show, and he's a vendor. He's a vendor of a certain material. And he mentioned that just by putting his material in the attic of a home, took the homeowner's house, which about a 2,000 square foot house. It took their $300 a month energy bill down to $100. Yes, you heard me right, and I'm going to repeat it. So by utilizing one item, it was applied and it was installed in the roof, the interior, the attic of the homeowner's house, and it took down their energy bill from $300 to $100. So when you hear people that are mindful of energy, and you hear people that are talking about, reducing energy consumption, these words may look like net zero, net positive, carbon neutral, okay, sustainability. These are words that are part of the language when you're talking about sustainability and eco-friendly. And everyone wins in this, okay, especially the homeowner. Okay, especially if you are what would be known as the end user. If you are the homeowner and you integrate some of these better practices into whether you're building, having a house constructed from the ground up, or if you have an existing home and you say, hey, I want to have a more energy efficient home. These are some small things of what that will look like. I don't know about you, but if there was a simple tool that would take my energy bill from $300 to $100, I would certainly look into that. So these are some of the great conversations that I was able to have at IBS, International Builders Showcase 2023. And I have several colleagues that I've met there, and they're very open and interested to being featured on my lives and podcasts. And so continue to tune in, because we'll be having conversations with these people, and they'll be able to share from their end what they've learned and what they've been able to see have been better practices in contributing to energy efficient, as well as reducing the carbon footprint, either in design or the building of a home. The second takeaway from IBS that was this is very exciting to me. Are you ready? And this is exciting because I hope that you find this exciting for you. We've heard of modular homes, right? Have you heard of a modular home? There is a company where you can have a custom modular home built. Yes, you heard it right. So what this means is, let's say you're interested in getting a new home, whether it be a second home, whether it be an investment home. You can have a custom modular home built. Now, for context, modular is not the same as a mobile home. Okay, the mobile homes, and I'm just going to give you a macro pick comparison, the mobile home is what you hear of a mobile home park. Okay, the mobile home is something that you can put on, if somebody puts it on the back of a trailer and relocates it. Modular means that the house was constructed in a factory. Okay, so modular is not the same as mobile. And feel free to do your own research in this with asking around and talking and seeing if you know of anyone or know someone that knows somebody that has or owns or has lived in a modular home. The quality is pretty much in comparison to a home that's built from the ground up. Modular homes are constructed inside of a factory. So what this means is the walls, the panels and whatnot are pre-cut in a factory, and then they are shipped to on site. Okay. And so for those of us who are very passionate about better practices that are better to the earth, sustainable practices, eco-friendly practices, modular is a great option because modular reduces the amount of waste that is accrued when building a house. Because modular homes are assembled and cut in a factory, it's a much more systematic method for like cutting, for instance, the walls in a modular home. And just so you know that the amount of waste from a modular home versus a house that's just built on site is sometimes upward of 90%. And another fact that you may not know is that the esteemed investor Warren Buffett, he does favor modular homes. And feel free to look up, he has a development company called Clayton Homes. You can look up what they are about. They're not all modular, but I was giving you that as a reference because Warren Buffett has made mention of modular construction. It's more cost efficient for everyone, the builder, for us, if we're the home buyer, and it's more more eco-friendly because it reduces the amount of waste. So want for you all to know that there are custom home builders, custom modular builders, so that if you wanted to have a house made, you could give them your own plan. Now they may have to, retrofit a little for the modular so that it could be constructed in a modular, but they will inform you. Then that the difference may be say, oh, we need to just move the wall over, X amount of inches, or we need to add this here. They would inform you what those adjustments would be to your architectural plans. They would certainly consult with you about that. But I was so tickled when I found that company because that was the first that I had came across a custom modular home builder. I was able to walk through and take a tour of two of their units that they had set up. They had set up a few model units there outside of IBS, and they were quite nice. One of them, man, I didn't even I'd have to check on the specs of how high the roof was. Even in the living room area, the ceiling was very high. This particular unit, it was a 2-story, but I would call it a semi 2-story because the second story was more like a loft. And so it had a spiral staircase. And I know that there are some people that are like, I am not interested in climbing a spiral staircase. So I completely understand about that. But I mentioned this just for context of the quality of these modular homes and the type of designs that are possible. You walked into this house and the ceiling was very high, upwards of 20 feet. You could not touch the ceiling. You couldn't even touch the ceiling with a pole. It was very high. I'm just sharing that in context to paint a picture of the type of options that are available. So those are my top two cool takeaways from IBS 2023. There was several workshops where they're talking about the carbon footprint and ways that developers can begin to incorporate better practices in their construction, architecture, and being intentional, excuse me, as well as their choice of materials so that by 2023 they can be in a better practice, best practices of very having a very low carbon footprint. Just for context, and I'm going to likely repeat this on many episodes where we're talking about anything having to do with home building. If you're building a home from the ground up, or even as you shop for a home, as a consumer, understand now, and I'm saying this in 2023, even though I've been having these conversations, working to get these conversations out to inform people. It's 2023 now, and you go to buy a house, okay? Or you go to build a house, and you just pick what you like. But keep in mind that, especially if you plan to sell that house at any point in the future, it makes sense to have some kind of foresight of what's going to be desirable come, the next 5, 10, 15 years, depending on when you plan to sell that home. There's going to come a point in time when people shop for a house and they are going to look for energy efficient homes. They are going to be shopping for a home. They may even be shopping for a home by what house has a less carbon footprint. Yes. So if you think ahead of the curve now, and you go ahead and incorporate some more energy efficient things into your house, if you're building ground up, if you're renovating your home, or if you're going to buy a new home, these are things you can position yourself with now. In the future, this will benefit you when you go to resell, because you're going to have people that shop for a home in the future, and they're going to be looking for a house that has alternative energy sources of energy. Does the house have solar? Is there any other type of energy source to the house other than the grid? This could be solar, wind, generators, the battery packs that store the solar energy. So I'm going to point this out now. Hopefully you hear other people that are saying these things. But these are going to be the differences in the future of why someone buys person A's house over person B's house. A few things to keep in mind about with this, and we'll delve into this in another episode. One way this is so valuable is it reduces energy consumption. It also reduces the energy bill. Imagine if you have a Tesla, if you have some sort of electric vehicle that has to be charged. Imagine if you charge that at the house. Imagine if you're doing that just on a regular house with no alternative energy source. Imagine what that's going to do to the energy bill. But if person A has solar with the battery packs that stores the solar, their energy bill is going to be a lot less, if any. And as I wrap this up, we will delve into this more again in future episodes. The reason I say someone having a lesser energy bill, if any, is because there are houses that are net zero. And exciting, here we go. There are houses that are net positive. Yay. Yay, yay. In the future, I'll have figured out how to have the sound effects. What net positive means is that your house generates more energy than it uses. And so whether that energy is stored into onto battery packs, or if you're in a place where your municipality allows you to sell energy back to the grid, that's what net positive is. And so we will get into this at another uh, episode, but wanted to just share some of the highlights from International Builders Showcase. And so you can be kept aware of what some of the trends are coming up with future home developments, future ways that builders and developers are looking to go towards. And here is the bonus exciting, which I get dropped some hints earlier. Thank you so much for staying to the end of this episode. I would like to announce that I am launching a podcast. I am launching a podcast, and it's called Hello Interesting. Yes, my podcast is called Hello Interesting, and so we will be talking and chatting with others and di- discussing topics on all things sustainability. So anything that contributes to eco-friendly, we want to chat about it. Okay, whether it's net positive, whether it's carbon neutral, what do those things mean? Hey, I've met some people with the Earth ship. Okay, let's chat about it. What about someone that is even lives a zero waste life? Okay, these things are fun, and you can take what resonates with you and what little practices make sense to you, and just glean from some of the others. Also, a podcast will feature different, lifestyle shares, whether it be travel as well as art, whether it be music and poetry. And so, thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to sharing more with you all, and I would love to collect your questions and comments. So, if you have any comments, or even people that would you would like to chat, or you have any cool shares for anything about contributing to sustainability or eco-friendly, feel free to send in your inquiries to creativelegendsla.com. Again, the website is Creative Legends, LEGENDSLA.com. Hello, Interestings, and have a wonderful day, Interestings. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye.